Hi, I'm Amber,
And I'm Kirsten.
and you're listening to
Lurking in the Shadows. Your favorite duo is back with a guest.
Hell yeah, brother.
Bad timing.
Today is my case. I'm discussing the Torrey Pines beach murders.
Which I have never heard of.
Well, soon you will.
Have you heard of them?
No, I haven't.
No. I haven't even heard of that beach,
It
actually.
sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't think it is what I think it is.
It's in California.
Oh, okay. California. I don't know many beaches in California, so.
Yeah, me either.
We didn't get to visit any while we were out there.
I know.
Oh, really?
Even when we were in Long Beach, we weren't on the beach.
Yeah, we were in Long Beach and in San Diego, and both times we didn't
cool.
get to
That sucks.
visit the beach at all.
Yeah, we didn't have enough time.
No. We were on the ocean, though. We were boarded a boat.
Yeah, that's true. We were in a big ship.
That's cool.
Yeah, we took a cruise. That was the Hawaii cruise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that was rad.
that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was, wow, a year ago already.
I know,
That's
is that crazy? I was just telling Russ about not long ago the beer pong competition we did.
Oh, yeah. We came in second place.
Hell yeah.
We were awesome.
Mm-hmm. We dominated.
And I didn't want to play. We did.
Yeah, Kirsten did not want to play. That's so funny.
Mm-mm. I was crossing my fingers our name won't get picked.
She was.
Did I say crossing our fingers? Crossing my fingers.
But we got picked out of 6 teams?
Like 16. It was a crazy number, like 16 or 20.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
A lot of people signed up.
Yeah, but
we
they
got
got
picked.
picked 6
Yeah, they only picked
to
6.
compete.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There was like 16 to 20 or something
Oh,
that
wow.
signed up, and they put everybody's name in a hat and pulled it out. And don't you know we got picked?
Yeah.
Hey, don't you know?
But we made friends from it. We became known as the Crazy Cat Ladies.
For the entire cruise, everybody meowed at us.
Yeah. Yeah, people just go rare every time they saw us. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, they were cool. They bought us champagne.
Yeah, they did.
They bought
They
us
were a cool,
That's some
like,
insane,
middle-aged couple in their 50s or something.
some insane beer pong lore.
What?
Just that
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's a good.
crazy cat lady.
Yeah, good flex over here.
Yeah.
Second
Yeah.
place.
It's interesting.
Too bad only first gets a trophy, but you know.
Yeah.
Still though, I mean,
Well, first is the worst, okay? Second is the best.
Hell yeah, brother.
Okay, well, let's get to this case. I included some fun little facts about Torrey Pines State Beach. It is a popular coastal park located in San Diego, California, offering beautiful beaches, cliffs, and hiking trails. It's known for its unique Torrey pine trees and diverse wildlife. The park is home to both Torrey Pines State National Reserve and Torrey Pines State Beach. The wide sandy beach stretches 4.5 miles from Del Mar past Los Peñasquitos.
Nailed it.
fucking
Past Los Peñasquitos Lagoon to the base of sandstone cliffs at Torrey Pines Mesa. That's a mouthful.
yes.
It's a popular place for swimming, surfing, and fishing. The reserve is a fragile environment home to the nation's rarest pine tree, the Pinus torreyana, and it now grows only on Santa Rosa Island off the coast near Santa Barbara.
It's my next stage name. Pinus Torreyana.
It sounds almost ominous. Pinus Torreyana.
Here she comes.
Yeah, that's not kind of cool. The park preserves not only the trees, but also one of the last salt marshes and waterfowl refuges in Southern California.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that is just some fun facts about Torrey Pines. But our story starts with Barbara Jean Nantais, a popular 15-year-old high schooler and cheerleader. Barbara was born on September 28, 1962, to parents Ralph and Judy Nantais, and grew up in Lakewood, Los Angeles, California. She had 4 siblings, older sisters Lorraine and Sue, and a younger brother Tom. Her parents said she was a popular, defiant, beautiful, pain-in-the-ass, wonderful daughter.
It's probably how my mother would describe me, honestly.
Probably.
All the good things and the pain in the ass.
Yeah, the pain in the ass.
Sprinkled in.
Her mom also describes her as bright, beautiful, and happy. Her sister Sue said she was outspoken, really stubborn, and set in her ways. Barbara became the first sophomore to ever make the varsity cheerleading team as opposed to the JV team. So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister Sue was the one who introduced Barbara to Jim Alt. He was 17 and Barbara was 15 when they began dating. Jim was popular and a big surfer. He was even featured in a wetsuit ad in a surfer magazine. He was good friends with a guy named Rick Selga, who was also a big surfer. He described Alt as a big, strong, funny guy, happy guy. He was probably the guy that everybody looked up to, and he had a lot of girls that liked him. But he didn't see anybody else but her, referring to Barbara.
Aw.
Yeah, he only had eyes for her. Jim Alt said he was in love with her the minute he saw her. They had been dating for 9 months in 1978 and were described as the all-American couple. Ralph and Judy Nantais left town to visit friends during the weekend of August 12, 1978. A family friend was looking after Barbara and her 3 siblings. Before they left, Ralph Nantais, her dad, pulled Jim aside and said, "Take care of my girl, okay, and make sure that she's safe." Jim said, "I told her father and mother, that we would stay put, and again, that, I've said it before, it's the biggest mistake or biggest lie I've ever told in my life." Right after Barbara's parents left, her and Jim hopped into a station wagon with Rick Selga and his girlfriend Cynthia Ann Cogg. They headed to Torrey Pines Beach. Selga said when they arrived, the parking lot was filled with people. It was like a big party. One article said they had planned to surf, but the waves didn't cooperate, so they sat around a bonfire and drank some alcohol instead.
Dude.
They decided... What'd you say?
Picture this. It's the 70s in California. Like this, I want to go. Like, let's go.
I know.
That sounds so
this
cool.
Scene sounds like great. Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. Smoking and drinking around a bonfire in California in the 70s. Like, hell yeah.
Yep.
I can imagine the affordability.
Yeah.
Drooling at the
I wish I could have bought a house back then.
Yeah.
Oof. Real estate.
And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see pictures popping up as we're talking about them, but they look like typical, 70s people. Barbara had long brown hair and Jim had long blonde hair.
Oh, nice.
They decided to spend the night at the beach, so Selga and his girlfriend slept in the station wagon while Jim and Barbara went down to the beach to be alone together around 9:30 p.m. Jim said, "We zipped the sleeping bags together and crawled in them and went to sleep. She was in my arms. That's the last thing I remember." And then, so we're going to get into the next morning. Jim woke up wet, cold, and unable to see. He was covered in blood. He's quoted saying, "I'm freezing. I'm feeling for Barbara. Don't know where she is. I don't know anything. I can't see anything. Don't hear anything." While being blinded and disoriented, he had to feel his way up along a fence, up a sandy hill, back to the parking lot where his friends were sleeping in the car. He was on his hands and knees knocking on the car window. His face was swollen and there was blood all over his blonde hair. He was beaten close to death with a log from a fire pit on the beach. All he said to Selga was, "Go find Barb." So Selga headed down to the beach and shortly after found Barbara's nude body. She was deceased. He ran back to the parking lot and yelled for help. One of the first investigators on the scene was Paul Ibarrando, a sergeant for the San Diego Police Department. Ibarrando said Barbara was covered in sand with severe-looking wounds on her head from a violent attack. Her skull was fractured, her throat showed signs of strangulation, and there was sand in her mouth. She also had mutilation to her right breast.
Jesus.
Yeah. Ibarrando is quoted saying, "It appeared that somebody had taken a sharp instrument and cut around the areola of her breast and also cut around the nipple of her breast. Later on, it was determined she had been raped and sodomized."
Oh, what a sick fucker.
Yeah. Her cause of death was blunt injuries to the head and strangulation. Police combed through the sand looking for clues or evidence, but didn't come up with anything, not even a murder weapon. Barbara's parents were notified of her death not long after, and Judy just screamed no over and over. Her dad, Ralph, said, "It was like somebody took a sledgehammer and hit me in the head, because we didn't even know that the kids were down there. We had no idea." So I can't imagine her poor parents being blindsided by this information, thinking your kids are at home.
Yeah.
And finding out one was found dead on the beach.
Yeah.
But, I mean, typical kids. That's...
Yeah.
How many times did we find ourselves, Kirsten? Like,
yeah.
You know.
Going out after in the dark, yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many of my friends I have caught jumping from that second floor window trying to sneak out in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's being a teenager.
Very out of the blue thing, though.
Yeah.
It's not like, someone having cancer or like an illness where you're trying to be sort of prepared for it,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no preparing for this.
No. Yeah.
Jim was in critical condition and taken to the hospital in an ambulance. He was found to have a traumatic brain injury and had a titanium plate put in his head.
Oof.
Yeah, he was really beat.
Wow.
There's also a picture of him from after when he's eventually released from the hospital and his head's all shaved. He was in a coma for, one article said months, one article said days, but he was in a coma for some time. When he awoke, he had no memory of the attack. He didn't know Barbara was dead, and people avoided telling him while he was in the hospital. Authorities briefly investigated all, but he was ruled out because his injuries were so severe.
Yeah.
Police pleaded with the public for anyone at the beach that night to come forward. They received many leads, but none panned out. Days sadly turned to months, and then years, and her case went cold.
So I would imagine that they did interview the friends and all that, and
yeah,
and they were the only ones down there on the beach that night.
As far as we know, yeah. Alt said he wakes up terrified every morning since 1978 when this happened. He said, "When I become aware that I'm awake, I do not open my eyes. I put my hands on the bed and I feel for that sheet or I feel for the sand of a beach. Before my eyes are open, I want to know where I'm at." So that's really sad.
Yeah.
It is.
Barbara's dad held a lot of anger towards Jim, and he would sometimes wake up in a cold sweat, crying. He said, "I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to talk to him. That's exactly what I felt. You didn't keep my little girl safe. I was very, very upset."
So honestly,
and Jim carried that guilt with him for a long time.
Yeah, I bet he did. And from the father's perspective, it's really, that's part of grieving, and you can't also blame him for those feelings. You have to put them somewhere, and so unfortunately it was just him taking the brunt of that.
Yeah, and he does eventually apologize to him and just says he needed someone to blame.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, he just needs someone, something.
Yeah. Jim said he believes he should have died defending her.
He practically did, though.
But, yeah, I mean, living with a brain injury for the rest of his life.
And a coma for either days or months.
Yeah.
And then Jim understandably became a different person after this. He was once a laid-back surfer dude, but became paranoid and angry. He called his violent thoughts the dark and twisties. He sought psychiatric help in 2006 and was diagnosed with PTSD, but the trauma had gone untreated for many years, because this happened in 1978. He's not seen a psychiatrist till 2006.
Wow, yeah.
He got into fistfights and was arrested for assault. If someone said something that made him mad, he'd shut them up. He's had trouble holding jobs in relationships. He's been a firefighter with the U.S. Forest Service, a tattoo shop owner, and a hydroponics shop manager, and was married a few times with no children. He used to keep a gun on him at all times and owned big dogs, including a timber wolf hybrid that he trained to attack. He wanted to look scary so people wouldn't bother him, but he said he doesn't want to live like that anymore and is working to get back to the old Jim. Ralph Nantais was able to forgive Jim and sent him a letter in 1994 saying, "You will be married in a short time, and I want you to try and erase this experience from your mind. Try and be as loving and kind to your wife as you were with Barbara, for I know she loved you dearly." And then Barbara's family also struggled after her death. Her older sisters moved away, while her little brother Tommy stayed home but watched his parents grow apart and eventually divorce. Tommy is now a Long Beach-based attorney who specializes in workers' compensation law. He is married with 3 children and has a successful career. He has been giving Jim legal help since the two got back into contact many years later, because Tommy always used to look up to Jim when he was dating Barbara. And then this is not where the story ends. On August 24th, 1984, the body of 14-year-old Claire Hough was found by beachgoers. Claire was found just a few hundred yards from where Barbara Nantais had been killed. It was a little rough, trigger warning. Like Barbara, Claire had also been beaten, strangled, and sexually assaulted. Paulie Barando also worked on Claire's case. He said it was determined at the autopsy that this girl had a lot of sand packed in her mouth and the larynx area. Our other victim had sand in her mouth. Another chilling similarity is that Claire's breast had also been mutilated. Ibarando said, "We either have a serial killer or a repeat performance by the person that probably did the first case."
Well, I definitely think a repeat. The mutilation is just too particular for it to.
Yeah, and strangulation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
was it the right press specifically, like the one in the 70s?
They didn't say in her case, but I believe so.
Yeah.
Claire grew up on the coast of Rhode Island and loved the beach. She spent as much time as she could on the beach with her best friend, Kim Jamer. She also spent a lot of time on San Diego beaches because her grandparents lived a few blocks away from Torrey Pines Beach. Claire's parents sent her and her brother to visit their grandparents in the summer of 1984, and Kim Jamer went along on that trip. The night before Jamer was supposed to go back home, Claire convinced her to sneak out with her and go to the beach after dark. Jamer almost immediately had a panic attack when they got there. She said, "It was just an awful feeling. I knew how freaked out I was, how somebody could just walk right up behind you without you even knowing they were there." Kim left the next day to head back home and made Claire promise her she wouldn't sneak out alone, but that's sadly what Claire did later that night on the 23rd, and then she was found on the morning of the 24th. Claire was described by her best friend Kim as very gentle, funny, and kind. She just had an inner light, a joy about her. It's hard to explain unless you've met her. She loved 1980s rock music and had a closet full of posters and magazine clippings of Kiss, Van Halen, Journey, and Ozzy Osbourne. So she sounded like she'd be friends with us.
Yeah, she'd be right up our alley.
Yep. Her dad said Claire was the class mediator. Kids who got into arguments would ask Claire to adjudicate. A couple of times she got in trouble in school because the teacher had accused someone wrongly and Claire wouldn't put up with it. She fought back. So she sounded like a cool kid.
Yeah.
Claire's parents, Sam and Penny Hough, traveled to Torrey Pines State Beach shortly after learning of their daughter's death. While there, they were approached by a man named Wallace Wheeler, who was the beachgoer who found Claire's body. He introduced himself and said he's a psychic. They said he went on for half an hour about how he could see at night and used to be a fighter pilot. They called police, who encouraged them to keep communicating with him in case he confessed to anything or had any other information. He would write long, rambling letters to the Houghs. One mentioned Claire was coming to him in visions. She had a smiling face and radiant eyes. So her dad was kind of put off by that because he's like, you found this bloody 14-year-old and now you're talking about a smiling face and radiant eyes.
Yeah. He sounds like he's a little cuckoo in the Cocoa Puffs there.
Yeah. And I did read in one article he was homeless.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. The police eventually questioned Wheeler, but he never confessed to anything and then stopped sending letters. Sadly, Wheeler killed himself by throwing himself off the top of a 13-story building.
Wow. That's a way.
You gotta commit.
Full send it.
Yeah.
God damn.
Investigators ruled him out as a suspect, but Claire's parents remained suspicious.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of weird,
Yeah.
Yeah. Barbara and Claire's parents never knew of each other until 2008, when the San Diego Police Department said they believed Claire Hough and Barbara Nantais had likely been murdered by the same killer. Sue, who's Barbara's sister, remembers being angry that they were never informed about Claire. Which, it is kind of strange that they wouldn't say something in case the families somehow knew each other or something.
That's true. I
also don't know what the procedure would be. And I could see both sides as to why maybe they didn't think it was...
That's what I was thinking too.
Relevant to mention, or I don't know.
Or maybe because they didn't want to jeopardize the case in any way.
Yeah.
That too.
And one was from the East Coast, one was from the West Coast. I feel like, maybe they were...
Well, she's from the East Coast, but they died on the same beach.
Yeah, it was the same. But her family had to travel and everything else too.
Yeah.
So, maybe they didn't want, national attention or something. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. And also it was, how many years ago?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Sadly, both cases went cold for many years until 2012, when investigators reopened the case due to advancements in DNA technology. Unfortunately, nothing was linked in Barbara's case, but police found 2 DNA hits on Claire Hough. Blood on her jeans was linked to a convicted rapist named Ronald Tatro. The other DNA, a tiny microscopic amount reportedly found inside of Claire, was linked to a man named Kevin Brown. Police knew Brown well because he was a former criminalist in their lab before retiring in 2002. Yeah.
That's yucky.
Yeah. Per CBC News, according to the police affidavits and search warrants, Kevin Brown had also made several incriminating statements during the investigation. In January of 2014, police knocked on the Browns' door. Kevin was married to Rebecca Brown, a Catholic school teacher. They had been married for about 20 years at this point. The detective showed Kevin Brown a picture of Ronald Tatro and asked if he knew him, to which he said no. Police would have questioned Tatro, but he died a few years earlier. Tatro drowned in what was ruled a boating accident in Tennessee in 2011, but there was suspicion it was a suicide. His wallet and glasses had been placed on the seat and looked as if he intended to go into the water instead of having fallen in by accident. And his death took place on the anniversary of Claire Hough's murder.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, that's
quite the coincidence.
That's a big statement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now Kevin Brown was the only living suspect.
Guilt will eat you alive.
Mm-hmm. Investigators told Brown they found his DNA and served a search warrant for his home. Retired criminalist Jim Stamm and John Dorina, who worked with Kevin Brown in the lab for years, said his nickname was Kinky Kevin because he frequented strip clubs.
That's icky. Oh God!
No,
looking good for Kevin.
I know.
Kevin,
Catholic, kinky Kevin.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Good.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
The optics.
The two men said they never noticed inappropriate behavior from Brown, but he made some female colleagues uncomfortable.
Oh, I bet he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It made one very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. Every
No.
red flag.
Lots of red flags. James Vallejos, a CBC news consultant, was quoted saying, "There was a criminalist who worked with Kevin Brown, and she describes how Kevin took a report of a violent rape, and when she was alone in a lab with him, read it aloud to her and made a remark along the lines of, 'Isn't that funny?'"
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Damn.
After that, she never felt comfortable being alone with him in the lab again.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I wouldn't be comfortable in any room with him, alone or not.
No.
Honestly.
Yeah, I don't want to be in the same pavilion with the guy.
Yeah. Ugh.
Investigators learned.
Like,
Oh, I know, right?
How the hell do you get that job? How do you keep that job? Where's the HR?
Yeah.
Where's human resources for Christ's sake? Like,
It
hello.
was the 80s.
Open
I
and
don't know.
shut
I guess
case.
they didn't care.
God.
Investigators learned Brown enjoyed photography. In the 80s, he would go to lingerie and boudoir. Is that how you say that?
Boudoir.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Boudoir. Yeah, boudoir.
Shoots that were advertised in a local magazine where a photographer named Ricky Ferguson took photos of aspiring models with Kevin Brown. He would also have private shoots with models where naughtier stuff would happen.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Brown initially denied ever knowing Claire Hough, but later on, after doing some thinking, he did recall having met someone named Claire in the 1980s and possibly had sex with her. He volunteered to take a lie detector test but failed. An investigator said to Brown, "I don't believe for a second that you thought she was 14, and Brown reportedly responded, "I had no idea." While police were building a case against Brown, his wife took his side, saying, "I never thought he was a killer. Never, never. This is a man who didn't have a mean bone in his body."
Nah.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about this woman later.
No, I can't wait to hear it.
She's also quoted saying, "Well, you know, all those little things they're saying about he was going to strip clubs and taking photographs of naked women. He had shown me some. And the majority were just like cutesy poses and glamour shots. Like, bitch, please. Yeah. Bitch, please. Of course he's not going to show you the naughty photos."
Yeah. It's like the stuff he showed you, A, and B, like, mostly, the majority. Well, you know, just a few dead girls photos and, you know, husband stuff. It's like, what?
Like, she's going to be like, yeah, he showed me the pictures of.
Wow.
You know,
right, yeah. Him and these naked women or whatever. No. He's going to show you the most, like, naive-looking photos.
They're also Catholic, are they not? Like,
yeah, they were.
Is this even remotely?
Yeah, she's a Catholic school teacher.
Yeah.
I told you, didn't I?
Fucking nailed it, in my opinion.
Not to be trusted. Not to be trusted.
So this woman is deep in denial.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I would say, yes.
Yes, she's hopefully.
Deep.
Like, just because you don't think someone is capable of something doesn't mean they aren't.
Oh, he's definitely
Well, she's either hiding something or she is, but like it's just like such. Some people just aren't very emotionally intelligent. Like has such blinders on.
I know somebody like that.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to her husband or just in general, that
yeah,
reach those types of people.
Yeah, Kirsten, do you know who I'm thinking of that I know? The brother-in-law's mother. Because, you know who's in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. She stood by him that whole time, was like, oh, he didn't do anything. Yeah. And
that's true.
That's the wife and the husband, you know, but it was like blatantly, like there was proof that he was doing these bad things and the woman was still like, I support him, you know, like.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's just severely deep denial or if there's some mental illness involved behind like issues like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's...
Well, I mean, depending on how long you've been together, it's got to be, even if you aren't that type of individual, difficult to come to the realization that, like, holy shit, like this person that, you know, I shared life with and like shared a bed with and had all these intimate moments and years built up, turned out to be like hid this side of himself and like was a monster or whatever. You know, that's got to be.
I'm sure it's very hard to accept that.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that would be like from a, you know, especially like a woman's perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What that would be like. Just know like the guy you've been with for, I don't know, however many, you know, 15, 20 years is like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you don't know like what's going on in someone's head.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah, it's very true.
It always bothers me when there's like families of like serial killers and whatnot, and they're all like, "Oh, he would never do that." You don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do not know that. You are not them. You don't know what they're thinking, what they're feeling. You don't know that. I don't care how long, if you've been married 20 plus years, you still don't ever fully know anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at the BTK, man.
Yeah, I was literally have that as an example. Like how many serial killers had families that had no idea. Like Gary Ridgway, he was married a few times. His wives didn't know.
Yep.
He's the Green River Killer. BTK's wife and daughter didn't know.
Had no idea. Yep.
Yeah. Some of them live normal lives.
It's crazy.
And they hide it well.
Yeah.
So that is just my PSA that you truly do not know anyone. Attorneys for the Browns said, the scope of what happened to these poor young women who were brutally sexually assaulted and murdered is quite different from going to a strip club or going into a porn shop or reading an off-color story. Which is true, but it doesn't mean he can't escalate.
No, but also what you're doing in the privacy of your own bedroom, though, in the legal sense, like, you know, have at it, my guy. I don't care. But
I get what it's saying, but it's not good.
Yeah.
The optics are not good. He's being led that way, where you're like, wouldn't be shocked. You're like, yeah, I'm not surprised. This guy sounded like a real creep.
Yeah.
So his attorneys are saying there is almost no evidence against Kevin and zero evidence that they'd ever seen each other or met at any time. Zero. Referring to Claire. At one point, detectives had shown Kevin a picture of Claire, and he said, "Oh, I remember her." But his attorneys are explaining that away by saying it was a well-known case and that photograph that they showed him had been on the newspaper. They also claim the Claire he knew in the 80s was in her 30s. They also explain away him saying I had no idea she was 14 by saying he was a nervous Nelly and a terrible public speaker and would apparently agree with things when confronted to please people.
That's not how he was described besides his attorneys at all, though. Because, I mean, if he was into pleasing people, then why would he make all the women that he worked around hella uncomfortable and say, like, that odd comment after, you know, and she, to the point where she didn't want to be around him ever again. So I don't know if I buy that, personally.
None of that explains away his DNA, though. His lawyers, again, have an explanation saying it was not kept in a way that would ensure the integrity of the evidence. Kevin Brown did not work on Claire's case, but he apparently worked near the criminalist who processed the evidence, and that's how his DNA got mixed in, they claim.
Oh, horseshit!
I was actually I was going to say that early on, where they were going to probably argue that if he was just nearby.
Yeah, that is horseshit.
The issue, though, is his DNA was from semen.
Well, he was a creep. He'd be like, Your Honor, my client just jerked off at work. He's not a rapist or a murderer. He's just horny. He sounds like the kind of guy that would. You're over there fucking doing whatever, and that whole Kevin 2 rows over. Oh, Jesus Christ.
God.
It's like the 5th time we've told you this year. You gotta keep that at home.
Yes, I'm saying, behind closed doors, I don't care.
I could see.
Yeah, but don't take it to work with you.
I could see just being on my lunch break, working around that guy, looking over, being like, "There you go again."
Fucking Kevin.
There goes kinky Kevin.
Bursting every vein in his arm, choking the chicken.
God. But wait,
and I did not know this, and I hope it's not true, but apparently in the 80s, criminalists would often bring their own seminal fluid to the lab and use it to ensure the chemicals used to detect semen were working correctly.
It's odd.
That's also how they're claiming his DNA was found, from cross-contamination.
Oh. Yeah, but it was. I do remember.
So he did jerk. That wasn't his work. It's like, that is my work.
Yeah, he may have been jerking off there. Who knows?
I forgot to bring it from home. I gotta make it now.
I gotta get.
Yeah.
Fresh sample.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you know that? Was that a thing?
No.
I had no idea.
I didn't do research on it because I wasn't going to type in.
Oh, I will.
Do criminals bring their semen to work?
I will gladly. I will report back.
Okay.
Back. That can be on my search history. I have no shame.
Yeah, I would do it on that. That would make my search history even better.
But have you ever heard of that? Like, that just seems crazy.
Yeah, that does seem... I mean, it makes sense, but...
To bring your own seminal fluid to, I guess not a sterile lab, but...
Yeah,
like, can you imagine getting in your car and be like, wallet keys, like, oh, I forgot my semen.
But listen, also, like, can they not supply, like, animal semen to be testing that the products are working?
That's the same.
I don't know. There has to be some other way that they can come home and jerk off and bring in their semen. Like, that doesn't even...
Could you imagine, like, Frank, it's your week. Could you bring in your sample this?
I know. Like, how do they determine, like, oh, whose turn is it?
Would you have to, like, slam on your brakes and you give yourself, like, a facial or something? Oh, goddamn.
Like, I don't know. Like, so I don't know if that's true, but that's what the attorneys are saying. That's how his semen got there, because he brought it to work and there was cross-contamination.
Yeah, I was wondering. That's what I was thinking when she first mentioned that case. Maybe
that's too far of a stretch for me, personally.
Yeah, that's... Like, what are the odds? Like, I don't...
And also, like, how would the semen have gotten inside her? You should be wearing gloves.
Right. Like, they got this sample from inside
deep,
her.
Yeah.
You said deep inside her was the quote you said to me earlier. I will not forget that, because that's disgusting.
Yeah. No fucking way, man.
Yeah.
So I don't jerk it off. Unless they're talking about after they got it out and it was on the table. I don't know. I don't want to think about it, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
On October 20th, 2014, Rebecca Brown came home from work and found her husband's Bible sitting on the table. Underlined was a psalm about being wrongfully accused. Rebecca is quoted saying, "His watch was there and his cell phone was there, and so I asked my mother, 'Where is Kevin?' And she just said he went somewhere. He went out. He was cleaned up, he'd shaved, he'd showered, looked nice, and said, 'I have things to do.' He never came home that night." The next morning, Rebecca was notified that her husband was found hanging in a tree in Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. But she is adamant that this is not an admission of guilt.
We're reading that differently, girlfriend.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I don't know. Seems pretty suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Like, what?
Yep. 3 days after his death, the San Diego Police Department publicly named Kevin Brown and Ronald Tatro as suspects in Claire Hough's murder. Rebecca was very angry about this and sued 2 police officers for misconduct and wrongful death. In 2020, a federal judge awarded Rebecca more than $6 million in her wrongful death lawsuit. Like, excuse me?
Yeah, that's...
I do not believe there is enough evidence to show he did not do this for her to get that much money.
That's absurd.
That is insane.
Right?
Yeah.
I do not think she deserves that, but whatever.
That's crazy.
Claire's parents said they were confident in the San Diego Police Department and their findings. But it's very strange that 3 men connected to this case in some way all died of apparent suicides.
Yeah.
The homeless man, Tatro, and now Brown.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very strange.
That's not a coincidence. I think that...
There are no such things as coincidences in true crime.
Yeah. Except for those very, very rare moments.
Very rare moments, but you know.
Barbara's parents still have a lot of questions because police are now saying Barbara and Claire's cases are not connected. Ronald Tatro was in prison for rape at the time of Barbara's murder in 1978, and Kevin Brown was attending college in Sacramento, 500 miles away, in 1978. And that's sadly kind of where this case ends. Jim Alt still struggles with survivor's guilt. Investigators have done several rounds of DNA testing from 3 sleeping bags, 3 rocks used in the attack, a cigarette butt found at the location of Barbara's body, a necklace Barbara was wearing around her neck, fingernail scrapings, and swabs taken from her body, but no suspect has ever been identified. In 2014...
You said that DNA was tested against all the other 3 men's DNA, right?
Yeah, they have not gotten any hits on anything they've tested.
Okay.
In 2014, detectives turned to the FBI to try and solve Barbara's murder. Agents in the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, or VICAP, wrote a criminal analysis report which identified murders in Southern California with similar characteristics to the Nantais case. The report showed 2 local cases in 1985 where the victims had sand and gravel stuffed into their mouths, which the same thing happened to Barbara and Claire. One of the cases was the murder of Donna Gentile, age 22, and the murder of Marcia Funderburk, age 25. Both women were discovered in East County, and both cases remain unsolved. In Long Beach, a Jane Doe was found murdered in 1974 and also had similar characteristics. Her body had been dragged across the sand like Barbara. A Long Beach man named Gary Stamp reportedly confessed to the Jane Doe murder, but the victim remains unidentified, and Stamp died of cancer while in custody before he could be brought to trial. Lieutenant Matthew Dobbs with the San Diego Police Department Cold Case Homicide Unit said, "That analysis was just one of many that have been done over the years in an attempt to identify similar cases for evaluation as being possibly related to determine if evidence in one case could help solve another. The VICAP report provides investigative leads, all of which have been investigated. Although there are some similarities on the surface, we have found no compelling evidence that any of those cases were related. There are a lot of new DNA testing techniques that have emerged and can hopefully be used in Barbara's case, such as they can now test hairs without a root, and a new software program called True Allele, which is made by a Pittsburgh firm called Cybergenetics, can reanalyze old DNA test results that were previously unidentifiable, and they can also use unidentifiable DNA mixtures that they can now separate to test. So there's a lot of advancements being done. Lieutenant Dobbs is again quoted saying, "This is still an open case, which is frequently reviewed. We constantly monitor emerging forensic sciences against the evidence in unsolved cases to evaluate the viability of the new process in solving cases. The San Diego Police Laboratory is on the cutting edge of much of the emerging technology. When technology emerges that our laboratory is not equipped to perform, we can and have sent evidence to outside laboratories. We are committed to solving all of our cases and will take any reasonable steps towards doing so." And that is the end.
I'm kind of excited in the sense of where I think technology is going to try and help solve these cases.
Yeah.
I can't stand technology. Technology does suck in a lot of aspects, but
yeah.
I think it's cool that...
I'm just wondering if genetic genealogy is an option too in this case. Because, they're both still technically unsolved, even though police think Kevin Brown did it or possibly Tatro. Barbara's there's no suspect.
Yeah, that one's, wow. But
it also, how are they not connected?
Exactly.
Unless someone's a copycat.
That is so unique. I cannot,
It's specific, but it's also not that specific, though. If you were that type of guy, do you know what I mean? I get why you'd be yeah, those two were linked.
But what are the chances on the same beach, same place?
Yeah, they were found yards apart.
With the same mutilation.
It's still, there's a lot of sick. Yeah, no, I get it.
I feel
it does lead. you to believe that it would be the same
connected.
person.
Yeah.
I feel like the only explanation for it not being the same person was literally a copycat.
Or that, yeah.
Because, like...
Well, who was found first? Barbara,
1978.
So, yeah. Fucking Kevin, whatever.
Claire was 6 years later.
Yeah, probably just was like, I don't know. Let's reenact this. I don't know.
Yeah, he's probably... Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah, and is there any, like... Yes, he was in college in 1978, but...
What if he was graduating? What if he was graduating soon, started his job where he did, and learned about the case or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Became obsessed.
Well, what if he was on vacation in San Diego and went to the beach? It was August.
Too, yeah.
Like, both cases happened in August. Like, how do we know he wasn't in San Diego? Just because he was in school.
Yeah.
They probably weren't in school on August 12th. It probably hadn't started back up yet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is a good point.
So I don't know if they've looked into that or not. I didn't read that anywhere.
I always love to hear, Kirsten, what are your theories?
I think it's more likely that it was the same person, in my opinion, even though police seem to be going against that. I mean, this Brown guy does seem pretty damning. I mean, he offed himself. I know his wife was saying she understands why he did it, because even if he was found not guilty, people would still judge him. But, like,
it's kind of a lawyer excuse, though. You know what I mean? Even if I'm not guilty, people are still going to judge me. It's like, I don't know. Like, I'd have to get myself into that headspace. But me personally, I'd be like, I don't give a shit, and I don't, like, I didn't do this, so think whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's just all the, like, weird things about him, like him having the name Kinky Kevin.
Yeah.
Making women uncomfortable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely sounded like the type.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Even what he did for work, I mean.
Yeah.
It all kind of adds up.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no, like, concrete evidence saying he did it.
Right.
They're both technically unsolved.
We'll
just cross our fingers for these DNA advancements to make a difference.
Yeah, I really hope so. That would be awesome, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Russell, for joining us for this.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And everyone listening, let us know your thoughts and theories. What do you think happened? Who do you think did it?
Yes. I'm stuck on what I think, honestly. But
yeah.
Make like a shadow and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at
Lurking in the Shadows Podcast.
Check us out on TikTok at
Lurking in the Shadows Pod.
Any questions, case suggestions, or concerns, send us a Gmail at
Lurking in the Shadows Podcast at gmail.com. And thank you to everyone who has been commenting on our reels and everything. We appreciate all the engagement, and we love interacting with you. And keep lurking around for our next episode.
Bye. Bye.